here in Lisboa, Portugal with Luis. This is the first part of the seminar, and you can see first thing we do is light sparring, open hand, very safe, and everybody's having a very good time. I'm here with Burton Richardson, so founder of the Jeet Kune Unlimited, one of Danny Inocento's top students, if not the top student, one of the founding fathers of the Dog Brothers group, so for those who are into Kali, MMA coach of UFC fighter Chris Liban, and all-around nice person. So, Burton, thank you so much for accepting doing this interview.
It's my pleasure, really.
So, first question, everybody that comes to Portugal, we do this question. So, how do you think about our country? How do you think about Portugal? And then we can talk about the group that you have here, and also basically the people that came to your seminar.
I've never been to Portugal before, and I'm so pleasantly surprised. Obviously, it's a beautiful place. Lisboa it's beautiful. There's the historic areas and all, but what's most important is the friendliness that I see. And to me, the test is we were walking down the street, and there were a lot of tourists around, of course. And a lot of times people who live in a tourist area, they just put up with the tourists. So walking on a narrow area, and we didn't see there was an older man, and we kind of got stuck a little bit. Oh, excuse me. And he looks up and he smiles and he says, oh no, please, go ahead. And I think that was a good example of what I feel here. Just, there's a lot of smiling and a lot of friendliness and good people. So what could be better?
Yeah, that's great. And what about your group here in Portugal, led by Luis Barnet?
I am so pleased. I am so pleased. Luis he's worked very hard. And the beautiful thing about Luis is he really understands the idea of what we're trying to get. Street self-defense, functional street self-defense. Then we also train people for MMA as well. But it's all about functional, nothing about just trying to impress, trying to say, oh gosh, I want to make sure my students think I'm, amazing, so I'm going to show all these things. It's about functional, helping each student really be able to defend him or herself in a fight, and with that comes all the character building at the same time. So I'm very pleased with all that, and then the physical skill that's been developed through using proper training methods of lots of sparring, training with resistance. I really could not be happier with the progress, really.
So good future.
Yes, very pleased. It's very bright. And this is just the beginning.
Exactly. And what about the seminar? Because it was your first time here in Portugal, and you got a chance to have people from other martial arts as well, which is always great and not so easy.
Yeah,
right?
It can be, yes.
Yeah. So how was the end result of the seminar? So what did you think about the seminar?
I was very, very happy with the seminar. I knew that Luis's people would have a certain way of training and all, but then the people coming from other areas, other backgrounds, first of all, to train hard, we have to have a friendly atmosphere. We have to be happy, because it's not going to be good if we were like, oh, I'm going to kill him, he's going to kill me. So everybody had that attitude. And then everybody trained hard, they trained well, and I really appreciate their asking questions. Nobody's just there thinking, oh, I will just do whatever he says, because that's not the way. If we want to constantly improve, we must question it. And we had great questions, and I was able to answer. I was just very, very pleased. It shows very well for martial arts in Portugal.
Excellent, excellent. How did Jeet Kune Unlimited start?
The way it actually started was because of fighting, as far as going into competitions. That's really how it started. Just like Bruce Lee had his Junfan Kung Fu, he had a difficult fight. He won, but it didn't go the way he wanted with a man from China. And so it made him change and look at things differently. So that's where a lot of people say that Jeet Kune Do actually started at that time. Same with me and all the training. Dan Inosanto always gave me everything, all the wide range of things. And then, because I had been an athlete before, I thought, oh, I'm going to try. So I went into a tournament. And that's where I really started to learn after doing several tournaments that I have to adjust things and really find out how to use them in real combat. So I think doing that later, I started doing what was called real contact stick fighting with Eric Noss and later became the Dog Brothers. Training MMA, before it was MMA, it was no holds barred and getting in there and sparring and training people and just doing a lot of competing. That's where I really started to realize that there are a lot of things we're practicing or I was teaching before that maybe it works at some time, most definitely, it's possible, but the chance of it working was very low in most situations. So I decided to go toward high percentage, low risk sort of training and techniques, and so that developed into JKD Unlimited, and we're still developing.
So a no nonsense approach.
Yes, just it has to work. And how do we know it works? We test it. We spar it all the time with different people. I spar with MMA fighters, jiu-jitsu. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but other jiu-jitsu black belts and champions. So I'm always testing against very skillful athletes who do combat for a living.
Great, great. So, and talking about Dan Inosanto, so
Oh, yeah.
how was it like to train with Dan Inosanto? Because it's basically a living legend.
Oh, yeah.
And how did he react, and also the JKD family, when the Jeet Kune Do Unlimited started?
Well, first, Dan Inosanto is about the most generous person you could possibly imagine. My nickname in the Dog Brothers, I was given the nickname Lucky Dog. And for example, one of the lucky things is the house I grew up in was about 1.5 miles from Dan Inosanto's original school. People are coming from all over the world to train, and it's right there. Very, very lucky. And a lot of things happen. I mean, I can just go on for... I've been very, very, very fortunate or blessed in both, and amazing. Dan Inosanto, he's so generous that he goes and studies everything harder, much harder than almost all of his students. Very few of his students train 1/10 of what he trains today. He still trains like crazy. He does that so he can offer more to his students. And he enjoys it himself, of course. So, I mean, he is just so generous. So he taught me how to train. He taught me that training methods are more important than the technique in the end. He taught me to go and train with lots of different people, not by saying it by example. That's the thing, Dan Inosanto leads by example. He doesn't just say, oh, you should train with different people. He brings them all to his academy so we can train with them. And then he trains with everybody. He's just, you know, if Bruce Lee had never existed and Dan Inosanto was not Bruce Lee's best friend and training partner, Dan Inosanto would still be a living legend because he knows more martial arts than anybody by far.
Great.
And then when I created JKD Unlimited, what Dan Inosanto's comment was, and you can imagine again, it's like, oh, he's going off and doing his own thing. Well, that's just exactly what Dan Inosanto wants. He wants everybody to find their own path. And his comment was, JKD Unlimited. That's exactly the point. Unlimited, that's the point of JKD. So he was pleased with that. I still have him come to my school, to Hawaii, about every other year. He comes and does a seminar for me, and we spend time together, and it's just great. I mean, he appreciates my approach of doing sparring. He prefers to give a lot of the culture and the knowledge, and just give you a wide knowledge so then you can try it out. Like, for example, I was showing in the seminar today, doing this thing, stick and dagger. block, move, come down, thrust. If I hadn't learned all those things from Dan Inosanto, I wouldn't be able to do that in sparring. So his idea, he gives you everything, and then you can go direction you want. He's very generous. It's wonderful.
Right. So MMA for the streets, that's one of the things that JKD Unlimited focused. And the MMA is growing. So it's like Dana White says, it's the fastest growing sport in the world nowadays. So regarding the expansion, what do you think about its future? And you know, the benefits and the drawbacks, because as you were explaining to us during the seminar, you know, more people know about MMA, practice MMA, jiu-jitsu, so now it's different. It's a different reality when you're in the street and something happens.
Yes. So it's interesting, in the great thing is here's a way to test at a very high level. It's one thing to watch on the television, but when you're right in there in the thing, and when your fighter gets hit full power and you can feel it, you're so close, you actually feel the shock of the impact yourself, you really have an appreciation for how rough this sport is. But it's fighting, and then you get great athletes training to fight, so they become so good. So for me, it's a great testing ground. If it's working in MMA, it works against someone who's fighting 100%, who's trained. Now that doesn't mean we're going to use those tactics in a street fight. For example, we were probably not going to try to pass someone's guard, get to the side, hold them for a while, try to get to the mount, hold that for a while, We're going to get up and get out of there in an actual street fight. But in situations that those portions of MMA are useful, it's tested. We just add kicking to the groin, thumbing the eye, grabbing the throat, hitting, scratching the eyes. We add those things into our training and our sparring safely so that we can just make sure it's real. So for me, MMA is just a great testing ground. The bad part is, as you mentioned, a lot of bad people are training it now too. It's very much in vogue. It's just, that's the way it is. So that's the reality. Police are finding that people are fighting back more when they go to arrest. Instead of running away, they're trying to shoot in for a double leg, and so the police have to be more prepared now. But there's always bad people. No matter what you do, bad people are going to do bad things with it. So the good people, the good guys, have to be better than the bad guys. That's my way of looking at it.
Okay, excellent. So now a bit more personal. So who's Burton Richardson outside the martial arts? Because I think most of the people know you in the martial arts, but who is Burton Richardson outside?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't think there is an outside of martial arts for me. There is no outside. I'm thinking about it all the time, and even if I'm not thinking about it specifically, the development of the character and who I am has been so shaped and influenced by the martial arts that it's still the martial arts. I can be sitting writing a story and it's still the martial arts involved. The story may have nothing to do with martial arts, but what I've learned through martial arts and the experience really shapes me. When I was younger, I had very poor discipline. Terrible discipline. I ate like sweets and chocolate and everything like crazy. I ate the worst food. Just eating, my discipline was so horrendous. And through martial arts, that helped me develop discipline little by little by little by little. And now I have a very good diet. I'm healthy.
My wife says that my goal is to actually, because I stopped eating meat, stopped eating chocolate, stopped eating this, stopped eating that. Little by little, I don't know, now no this, no that, no that. She says my goal is to stop eating altogether. but it's discipline, my discipline in every day. It just everything in martial arts has shaped me. I have farther to go, but it's going well so far.
Okay, great. So, what else is there for you?
What else? I just feel like I'm on a road like this, and that we're going up, and I just want to make the road more like this, or find that elevator so I can go like this. Yeah, it's just constant improvement, but I think very important that I found there's one wave. You constantly improve because you keep criticizing yourself all the time. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And no matter how well you do, you always focus on what's bad. It makes you get better. But then you live your whole life miserable and not happy with yourself. So for me, I look and I say, okay, I've come this far, and I'm pleased with what I've done so far. But I can do better, I'm going to do better. So I keep working to try to make everything better, make myself better, train better, everything better, but still happy. I acknowledge that, oh, you know, I've done some good things, and I've come a certain distance, so I'm pleased with that, but I just want to keep going. So to me, it's just, we just keep going, keep fighting, keep fighting.
Exactly. So, Burton, thank you so much. Okay, in Portuguese, muito obrigado. Okay?
De nada.
And aloha.
Yeah, aloha. Thank you.
Perfect. Está a aparecer uma luz vermelha a dizer rec. Vamos descarregar outra vez.
Or no to every question will be done. Maybe. What is the most important thing in martial arts for you? Yes.
Não, tens que carregar no coisa e...
Sure.
One quick question is, how do you want me to treat you? So, Guru Burton, Guru Richardson, Burton Richardson, Burton. So, what do you prefer?
I just usually go by SUGM. Just call it SUGM, Supreme Ultimate Grandmaster. And I'm happy with that. I mean, it's not as enough, but so it'll do for right now. No, you can just call me Burton.
Yeah?
It's fine. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what I'll do...
Oh, you're a nice person. That's
well,
funny.
It is.
That's funny.
What do you think?
Great.
Great.
Thank you very
So
much.
the
Very
idea
nice.
is